Peoples, right? This is not a message for divine masculine, divine feminine, karmics. This is a message for you. Now, listen. I live in a place where there's two little children that live next door to me, and all of their main carers, except me, are using things against these children. Let me explain. The 4-year-old believes that there are monsters living in his room that will get him if he leaves his room at night. He's got a big thing on his door so he can't get out. Instead of putting it on the kitchen so the kitchen is safe, it's been placed on his doorway so he can't get out of his room. Instead, the very room that he's expected to settle in at night for a long, peaceful, deep night's sleep comfortably. Not only is there this thing on his door so he just can't get out if he wanted to, he's trapped in a room where he believes there are monsters living in his room that will get him if he tries to leave the room. He also believes that the police will take him away if he is naughty. And just now, it's about my... I was reminded to do this video. I did it the other day and I deleted it because it wasn't... Just now, this 4-year-old, I could hear someone screaming at him, "I'm going to phone the police on you when we get in." Can I just say, anybody that is using threats of the police with a young child, especially under teenage years, do you know the damage that you are doing to those children? If your child was ever lost or needed help and the only person around was a police officer, what do you think the likelihood is that your child would go and approach a police officer for help if you've used police as a threat their whole life? Now, just now, and this is putting it mildly, these threats that I hear, and social services won't do anything. No one else on the block will do anything because I report it to social services. They call me malicious, apparently. I'm being malicious. Because I report that he's locked in his room all the time and he's never played with. And I mean, there's two of them. They're never played with. They're locked in their room, blah, 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 blah. They're threatened with this. They're threatened with that. When I had him the other night, when it was my turn to look after him, and the other day, he wouldn't settle in his room at night for sleep because he was convinced that the monsters will come and eat him and get him. Blah, 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 blah. His timeout is in his room. His punishments are in his room. Can I just tell you, people, right? If you put your child's room as their punishment, as their timeout, they're going to associate that room with some really bad stuff. They're not going to want to settle in that room, clearly. If you were told as a young child, in that room, there's a big monster in there, it's going to get you. By the way, have a good night's sleep. It doesn't really work, right? But the police thing has annoyed me because I hear all these children's carers telling them, "I'm going to phone the police and the police will take you away." I'm not saying that there are not police officers in this world that have abused their positions of trust. They've abused the oaths that they have taken, and yes, they have. But that's not all police officers. That's not all police officers. And we don't want children to be raised and grow and learn that actually, if anything was wrong, they could not approach a police officer because they might take them away. Please be very careful, people, what you are doing to your children's mental health, their psychological and emotional health when you use threats like monsters and police officers. Because when I look after these children and I say, "There's no monsters under your bed." There is. No, there's not. They don't believe me. And when I tell them the police will not take you away if you're naughty because you are a child, that's not what they do. These children have got the 434 on my timer. These children have got the impression that they've got the impression that police will do many, many, many bad things. In fact, the catalogue of suggestions that came from this child's mouth when I had him this week of what he actually believed that the police would do to him if his carers phoned them on him. He's 4 and he's autistic. He's that autistic that he was diagnosed at 2.5 years old. But apparently social services say that I'm being malicious when I report certain things for these children's mental health and well-being, their emotional security, and just now I heard, I'm going to phone the police on you when we get in. How very dare any of you use a system that has apparently been put in place for our protection to keep our streets in an orderly fashion and our homes, really and truly. How dare you use such a threat against young, vulnerable, impressionable children? And even if they weren't autistic, it is still not on. You're going to create a picture for them that is not true. It's not real. And when I try and tell these children, no, darling, that's not going to, the police won't do that to you. They tell me, yeah, they will. Because Mum said, and Uncle Charlie said, and Auntie blah blah said, and this person said. And then there's one of me. One of me is all of those people telling a load of bullshit. And then there's one of me. Story of my fucking life. And I'm accused of malicious intent. Okay. Wow. These are coming from the same people that if you don't lay down, you won't get fed for the rest of the day. It was 10 a.m. The child was 2 years old. And my son, he's 14. He said to me the other day, he said, I feel like some people should have a license to be able to have children. And I said, absolutely. Absolutely. People should be having mental health capacity tests and possibly carry a license to be able to be deemed fit enough to raise a child. We're not just talking, they're just the needs of a roof over their head, their simple clothing, they're this, they're that. We're talking to be able to competently raise a child and get them to a position where they are a well-adjusted adult within their mental, emotional security, Please, people, 732 on my timer, please, people, stop using the police as a threat to your children, because one day your child might accidentally, I don't know, end up lost, kidnapped perhaps, who knows? And they're not going to trust a police officer if all you are doing is defacing the value of most police officers within our world. Stop fucking doing it. You're damaging your children. And then they'll do the same to their children because they'll remember how scary it was. But I guess this is just me being malicious again, But anyway, please. And stop telling him there's monsters. He believes there's monsters in the damn bushes. If I open the door, the monsters in the bushes will get me. No, babes, if you open the door, Chrissy's going to come along and lock it so you can't do it again. Basically, actually, no, the monsters will get me. No, they won't. And do you know how difficult it is? 8:45 on my timer. Do you know how difficult it is trying to tell a child? Let me tell you, because I had this with my children growing up. Everybody was telling them that I was fabricating their autism, their brain conditions, their health conditions, even though they got proved afterwards. My records were not changed to reflect that, and I was not apologised to. My children were not compensated for what social services did to their poor minds, and then what they did to me as these children's mother. Let me tell you how difficult it is getting a child to believe you when every single other adult around them is telling them no. Well, now it's happening again with a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. It's being emotionally and psychologically, mentally abused. And then there's one of me saying, no, darling, the police aren't going to do that to you. I don't know why I try. I don't know why I stick up for the police. They don't stick up for me. They've helped my situation to be like shit. I don't know why I stick up for them. But I'm not sticking up for them. I'm sticking up for the children. Their mental health, their emotional health, their emotional security in the home, that they are supposed to go to bed, know that they are loved, know that they are safe, know that there is an adult on the premises to look after them, not a monster under the fucking bed.